Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another AMA by Presale World. I'm Ant, and today we've got Forever Farm, but as per usual, just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. We are, of course, Presale World, with the easiest way to find presales from across the market from the biggest launch pads, including Pink Sale, DX Sale, Unicrypt, Gempad, Cookie Sale, and of course Presale World, the fastest growing launch pad on the market. So be sure to check us out at presale.world, but let's get straight back into the action. So welcome again, everybody, to another AMA by Presale World. Today we've got Forever Farm. Like I said, absolutely flying out the gates here on Gempad. So happy to talk to the team. Can't wait, really. Hey, Rick, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys for having me on here today. Really excited to talk about Forever Farm, the ecosystem, and why our protocol is unlike anything you guys have seen in DeFi. It's really innovative, different than anything else anybody's ever done out there, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys about it.
Well, let's get straight into it then. In that case, I love it. I love the passion. So in that case, we usually start not know so much about the project, but about kind of the owners, the devs, really. So who are you, Rick? Who are the team, and how did you all get into crypto?
Man, well, I've been in crypto now since 2016. I started making YouTube videos in 2017 around crypto. So now you can find me on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/crypto Rick. I got like 109,000 subscribers at this point or something along those lines. It's just something that drew me, right? I've always been passionate about freedom and, rights and people taking the power over the corrupt governments of the world. And obviously in crypto, that's a big part of the allure that we all love about it. So that's really what drew me to crypto. And then I started doing what everybody else did, jumping into random stuff and getting scammed left and right. So all the gains I was making on my good projects, I was losing on some scam projects. I had to take the bumps and bruises and learn along the way, just like everybody else does in this space. So then I started thinking, there's got to be a better way. And I surrounded myself with a team of brilliant people and decided that, let's start creating some stuff where the communities can finally win. That's what crypto is all about, is the community winning, the people taking back the power, the people winning, not the establishment winning. So I wanted to create some things that allowed our communities to do exactly that, something nice and safe and innovative that we could get into. So I've actually launched a few projects. A lot of people follow me from project to project to project because that's always my number one goal, is making sure the community is winning. So I have a few different projects that are actually active right now, and they all intertwine into the same style ecosystem that we'll talk about here, with like the Kennel Sphere NFT game that Forever Farm is going to be joining and all that. So lucky enough to surround myself with a bunch of brilliant people that make me look smarter and make my job of being the guy that gets on camera to talk about this stuff that much easier.
Well, what an introduction. I love that. I absolutely love it. And yeah, it's a great thing, like you say, to surround yourself with a good team, as well as, well, you must be doing something right, Rick, anyway, if people are following you from thing to thing. Obviously, in crypto, it tends to be that people, anonymize themselves because they don't like to be known from project to project. So, more power to you is what I would say there, brother. But let's get into it. Let's get into the current project rather than the previous projects. So Forever Farm, you're here today. Like I said, the pre-sale has started, but what is it? What is the overview of the project, at least? Not necessarily all the nitty gritty, but if you were to give a paragraph to describe what you guys are, what is it?
Yeah, Forever Farm is an innovative spin on traditional LP yield farming. The problem with so many yield farms out there is they run out of rewards, or they're just designed in a way that crushes the project's token price. So it's just a steady decline, and you just hope your APY is outpacing the token price decline, which is just flawed from the start. So we're an innovative spin on that, with a self-sustaining project and ecosystem that really does work together through smart contract utilization to create a yield farm that never ends, continuously increases the APY while also increasing the price of the token on the market without a rebase and without any minting of additional tokens.
That is a great description. And now you can imagine what the next question is going to be. But, well, how is this possible? We've seen them all before. We've seen those APYs go out of control and those token prices dive because of it. How have you guys managed to do this differently? I appreciate you might not want to give away trade secrets, but how is it
So
possible?
the beauty of the blockchain is you can see it anyway, right? So that's the beauty of the blockchain. So there are obviously some trade secrets that are going to be intertwined in there, but I want people to understand the value of this contract, how it's different, why it's so important. And I have been a fan of the degen meme space for a little while. I'm guilty just like everybody else is, because I find that that's where some of the best innovations in contracts come from. So one project jumped out at me. The name was Cliff. They hit 500 million market cap, something along those lines. And I really liked one feature that contract had. And what it did is it pulled tokens out of liquidity and sent it to the burn address to increase the price at sporadic times, which was really, really cool, really innovative. So being the YouTuber I am, I'm not shy. So I reached out to the dev of that contract and found out I already knew the guy from previous projects. So we started chatting about the feature and really wanted to get a good understanding of it. So I customized a little bit with my dev team to launch a previous project and really test it in the real world and fine tune it. So that project's still going too. So it's not like we ran away from that. But really the ultimate goal here now is how to keep it sustainable, because you can't just keep burning tokens forever. That's not sustainable. Eventually, there's nothing left to burn. So now what we've done with Forever Farm is at the push of a button, anytime we want, or at preset intervals that we can change based on community and ecosystem needs, we can actually pump the price of the token, which simultaneously pumps the APY for the LP farmers. So instead of the high APY actually decreasing the price, it's increasing the price. So it's a completely innovative, never before done, never before seen spin on farming.
Yeah, okay. So that is definitely a different spin. I remember talking to somebody about a very similar idea of buybacks taking out of the LP. Because obviously, if anyone doesn't understand how price ratios work in a liquidity pool, automated market makers like we have here, it's a ratio. So if I have one BNB and one token, you can assume that you are going to receive at least, 1 for 1 or 2 for 1. I can't quite remember how it works. But if you remove that, for example, or you add to that, so if I buy a token, let's say I'll buy half a token, it changes that ratio. So all of a sudden you might be getting 2 tokens for your 1 BNB, or you might be getting half a token for your BNB. So it is literally just ratio of BNB to tokens in that liquidity pool. So what Rick is saying, which I think is a great idea, I assume this is what you're saying, Rick, tell me if I'm wrong, please, is by taking out of that liquidity or changing that burn of the tokens in the liquidity pool, it obviously changes the ratio of BNB to tokens and therefore a higher price.
That's exactly right. The contract is built where we can actually pull the tokens, not the BNB, but the tokens out of the liquidity pool on demand, and those tokens go to feed the APY rewards for additional LP farmers. The beauty of something like this is the more people farm and add BNB into the liquidity, the more comfortable we can be with more frequent and higher price pumps, right? Obviously, liquidity is extremely important, hence the pre-sale, hence the farming aspect to this. But that's exactly right. We are able to take those tokens out of the liquidity, throw them into the APY rewards for everybody to not just increase the price of the token, but also incentivize people to go ahead and keep farming or adding more to their existing farm pool.
Love that. Absolutely love that idea. I'm not going to lie. There is the question, though, and I remember having this conversation a little while back. There is the question of how do you stick? So there's a different level of sustainability here. So, and it is pretty much what you just said, in fairness. So you've definitely got an eye on it. Increasing that burn rate too much, of course, kind of skews the price in a different fashion. Price gets high, but liquidity gets low. So have you had thoughts about what sort of level you're going to start at and where you're going to hope to raise it to after a period of time?
Yeah, that's all variable within the contract and could change from day to day or hour to hour, right? Depending on the needs, what we're seeing from the community and all of those things. So that's definitely variable. Now, another piece to this is at launch, we're having our NFTs all ready to go. And those NFTs are taking part in an NFT battle game on Kennelsphere. So what that's going to do is anytime somebody mints a Forever Farm NFT, anytime they train up that NFT, because it is a battling NFT that you can train up, that creates immediate buys at the market as well. And again, those tokens are sent over to the APY reward pool. So it's a full ecosystem of different aspects all working together to create continuous buy pressure, incentivize liquidity ads. And from there, we can judge on how aggressive we can and should stay with APYs.
Great idea. Absolutely love it. Okay, so you mentioned the NFT battle game. It's something that I've seen on your site. I've seen, mentioned in a few of your kind of press releases. But talk me through it. I'm not too familiar with the NFT battle game. Which, did you say it was part of one of your previous projects, or is part of one of the projects you're running currently?
Yeah, it's part of the Kennelsphere project. So kennelsphere.com, you can check out that website and entire ecosystem over there. And that's an NFT battle game that any project on Binance Smart Chain can actually join and give their token utilization, utility, and give their community more value. So any BSC project can actually join that and battle against each other, and the users will win and earn BNB from playing the game, in addition to just earning passive BNB if their NFTs are strong enough to defend attacks. So if somebody clicks the fight button on the game, it's going to pick, the blockchain picks a random NFT to battle against them. The winner of that win some BNB. So it's a pretty straightforward card style, stat style game at this point. Very fair because everything's randomized, and very, very difficult to manipulate since everything's randomized as well. So it's just one more way that we can bring utility to Forever Farm and other projects out there in the space.
Love it. Yeah, it's a great idea. Yeah, I can see. I've just been clicking through the site while you've been speaking. Actually, the graphics are absolutely fantastic. Absolutely love it. So those NFTs that you were mentioning, they are pretty much ready to, well, not pretty much ready to go. They are ready to go on launch then. Is that right?
That's correct. Everything is ready to go on launch, right? What's one of the biggest hurdles that I see in this space is people have a pre-sale with nothing but a pipe dream in a roadmap. And that's unfortunate because it's really not the design of what we're doing. We feel so strongly over here at Forever Farm that that's the wrong way to do it, that we wanted to make sure we're doing it the complete opposite. Everything is ready and will be launched as soon as we hit the DEX. That's the farming DApp. That's the NFTs available for minting. That's the NFT game available to play. Everything right out of the gate is going to be done. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have more tricks up our sleeve that are coming down, but we're not here talking about future stuff. We're here talking about things that we know are coming right away. So it's not some pipe dream you're buying into. You're buying into an established, tested, and ready to go project.
You're preaching to the choir here. I'm smiling while you're saying it, basically, because as you can imagine, we see a lot of it. That doesn't mean that some projects don't have merit, because some projects, build them after a period of time. And obviously speculation is a good thing within crypto, but I do think there needs to be more projects with actual substance, i.e. things that are realistic goals and things that are actually built. And like you say, that doesn't mean that there's not bigger things that can be built in the future. Just because you have something which is small now, there are bigger things you can build on it, but at least you get that confidence in the team, at least, that that they have the capability to build these things from the first place. So like I say, preaching to the choir there, absolutely, basically. I know you're a guy that has a bit of a reputation anyway, a positive one at that. So, it could have been bad if I didn't end with that part. But what are the marketing plans for this? I assume you are a big part of that, Rick, but what other plans do you have to kind of push this forward?
Yeah, so right now, our number one focus is exactly this. It's AMAs, because as exciting as it is to do something that's never been done, it comes with an unbelievable responsibility of educating the masses of what it is, how it works, why it's different, and why the hell they should even care at the end of the day. So a lot of AMAs right now. I have, this one, obviously. I got another one today. And then I'm most excited about the post-launch AMAs, because on those, what I'm going to be able to do is show the contract features live on the AMA. I'm going to say, hey, everybody, count down from 5 with me, push the button, pump the price, and pump the APY, right? When people see that in action, that's going to absolutely change the game for not just what we're doing, but possibly start a trend out there in the DeFi space.
Yeah, exactly. Doing something different and being first to the market can be a big thing, as long as it's got the marketing behind it, of course. But then that's when you start to get copycats where people think that's a bad thing, and not for the founding project at all. I mean, SafeMoon's the biggest one, I suppose. Baby Doge and Doge as well, but SafeMoon, you know, the amount of safe tokens that came out about that, and yet it didn't detract away from SafeMoon itself. It still did fantastic. Now I know people have strong opinions on SafeMoon now, but that's a different thing altogether. At the time, you know, you couldn't have had better marketing really when everyone had safe in their name.
Yeah, right. It's imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right? If you're being copied and knocked off, that means you're doing something right. And at the end of the day, they can copy your code, but can they copy your passion? And when you built something and you're the creator of something, there's nobody that can be more passionate than you. And that goes for not just crypto, but everything in life.
Yeah, couldn't say it better. Couldn't say it better at all. So where we're at with we've got everything ready to go. The launch is obviously happening at the minute. You chose a hyper launch that we're going for on Gempad. Is there any particular reason for the hyper launch rather than a fair launch or a pre-sale or anything different?
Yeah, so obviously liquidity is king, right? So the way that these pre-sale platforms work is if you pick a regular pre-sale, you have to have a soft cap and a hard cap, and it can only be double the soft cap, right? So that's kind of weird because sometimes you might not need a huge budget, right? So the soft cap can be low, but you don't want to restrict the potential raise as well. But also with the regular fair launch through these launch pads, what I don't like about that is everybody has a chance to get in. And as real as it is, FOMO is a thing. So filling your spots, having people miss out on that opportunity, and having to have buy pressure at DEX listing is extremely important. So the hyper launch made a lot of sense to me for what we were looking to do, since there's no hard cap, no limit to the raise. There's just a limit to the number of wallets that can enter the raise. So we limit at 120. We have 79 spots left. So we're coming up, about 1/3 of the way in a little over an hour. So we got these AMAs lined up. Hopefully people like what they're seeing, like what they're hearing. We could probably fill this thing in the next day or two. And then worst case scenario, in 2 days, in 38 minutes, we'll be listed on the DEX. The farming app will be live. The NFT game will be live. If we fill the 120 spots early, we will list early as well. We will launch everything early. So that's the desired hope, is that we can get everything filled up, launch early, and get this thing rolling. Because again, as soon as we're launched, I got some AMAs where I can pump the price live and really turn some heads.
Yeah, well, exactly that. I think there is an issue sometimes. I mean, you said exactly the right things as far as I'm concerned. We have our own launch pad, so we see those exact problems basically. But you said the right thing about holding off as well. There's a period of time, I think, where we've seen it in some larger projects, and I say larger as in large in the space of what they've raised. I think waiting too long gets rid of that hype. And if you've got a community that are behind it straight away, that's exactly the base you want, right? That's where you don't get this situation of pump and dumps, or it's less likely to happen, in my opinion. Please don't take that as gospel, everybody. Make sure you still kind of, use your own advice, I suppose, because everyone has their different risk factors. Okay, yeah, cool. And I totally agree, by the way, about the kind of hyper launch, fair launch, pre-sale thing. Like I said, pre-sales are a funny thing because there's a cap, and who knows what your ambitions are. You don't know how much you're going to sell until you kind of start, basically. Like you're saying, if 50 BNB is your soft cap and you can start with that, and that's a great kind of starting tool for you of an amount to push this project forward, that's brilliant. But like you say, a fair launch having too high a cap, of course, gets that problem where, you basically got no buy pressure, and you're getting these horrible charts at the minute, which are literally just cliffs, and there's no pump at all. I still don't quite understand it. I'm not going to lie. I don't understand why someone would sell so early in the game, but, everyone, each to their own, should they say. It is worth noting that we have got a launch pad, and we are going to solve that problem. So watch this space, everybody. But anyway, that's just a plug for Presale World there. In terms of the distribution of tokens in a minute, I can see most of them are going to liquidity. Most of them are in the presale itself. There's a couple in team vesting, and then there's some unlocked tokens. Can you just give us a rundown of where all the tokens are and where they're going? Yeah,
50,000 are up for grabs in the presale. 30,000 will be for liquidity, and 20,000 is the initial farming rewards. There are actually 0 team tokens. 0. The team bought into the presale just like everybody else. That's the only way we're getting tokens. In order to be fair, truly fair in this space, you can't have team tokens, right? You can't have magical whitelist spots. You can't have private sales. all that stuff is just a masking for a potential rug or dump on the community. We did this as fair as possible with no team tokens, no whitelist spots, no private sale, 100% as fair as possible. We bought in on GemPad like everybody else.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I said team vesting because I saw the little little donut, but actually you are right. There's 0 team tokens there, so that's what I like to hear. Going into a revenue model then, because obviously if there's no team tokens, that means you guys are not selling the tokens in order to kind of get your revenue. Where is the revenue coming from? What's in it for you, Rick, would be the thing to say.
Yeah, the revenue, there's a little tax, right? We got a 2% tax where 1% on buy goes to the treasury fund, and then 2% on sell goes to the treasury fund. Nobody's going to get rich on 3% taxes, right? Our main goal is all about adoption, utilization, and future development, right? The fact of the matter is anybody that's starting a business on day one and expecting to make money on day one should not be starting a business because they're not going into it with the right frame of mind. That's in regular traditional business, and the same thing goes for crypto. So for us, we do get some revenue off of the NFTs, off of the NFT game. And what you'll see is if you go to kennelsphere.com, there is a farming building, and it says farming coming soon, which is kind of weird since Forever Farm is also coming soon. So perhaps, just maybe, there'll be another revenue opportunity in there for the Forever Farm.
No, I think that's coincidental. No, I'm joking. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, nice. Well, it's like you say, it's refreshing to hear that. It's refreshing to hear a team that have thought about a revenue model. So, because again, I say this most times to the investors, but I think it's important. Projects have to make money, because if they don't make money, there's no reason for anyone to launch a project, right? And if you are aware of how a project is making money, it reduces your risk, is what I would say to an investor, because you're aware where they will be pulling money out, where they will be taking money. It's when you are unaware of where money comes into a project is where you should be, worrying, basically. If there are a lot of unlocked tokens, there's a 0% tax. You need to start thinking, well, where are they going to get this from? If there's a platform there, then of course that might be a reason. But if there's nothing on the horizon, then that's where you should be kind of using your, do your own research, should I say, into the project and have a think about it. So yeah, great answer there, Rick. I like that. So you just went through the taxes. In the audit, I would say there are a couple of things in there. But again, with what you've explained, it's a relatively new contract from what I can see in terms of pulling things out and turning them into burns. So again, what I would say to an investor is do read through it. But again, do ask the questions about why. It's not written in stone like we put those little kind of notices on. The only reason we do that is not to dissuade you, but to make you ask a question. I'm sure Rick will be happy to answer questions till he's blue in the face. So, again, do ask those questions in Forever Farm or ask them here. I think I've gone through actually most of the things I wanted to ask. I'm not even going to lie. I mean, you've answered them so concisely and professionally. I absolutely love it. What have we missed, Rick? Because I'm sure you're going to tell me something that I haven't asked the question for.
Yeah, I would actually love to touch on the audit myself. Because again, I'm a fully transparent and open guy. And when I was talking with GemPad and they were like, oh, we should do the audit, people like to see the audit badge. I was like, oh, the audit's not going to look good because we have so much control over the contract by design, right? But at the end of the day, you can have renounced contracts and all these things and still get rugged, still get dumped on. So in order for this contract to work, we need to have control over it. That's the whole design of it, is so we can adjust things as needed. We can adjust APYs as needed. We can make sure this thing is sustainable and the rewards are exciting. And I can come on to AMAs and pump the price live. So without those features that are labeled high risk, this project doesn't exist. Right. So yes, there are some features that give us some control over the contract. But what's the point of developing features if you're not going to use them? And you have to choose to yourself, and you have to ask yourselves always in this space, do I feel like this team and this person is doing it for the right reasons or not? Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know about you, but I've been rugged plenty of times on renounced contracts and all these other things that are out there that are supposed to be safe, where I don't even care about that stuff anymore. I do my research on the team, the project, the roadmap, what they've accomplished so far. And really, when you have a team with a history of projects, you can just look back at their existing projects. Are people following them to their next project, or they're running away? Or is this just some anonymous guy on Telegram that just rinses and repeats the same contract with a different logo? Right. So all those things have to come into play. And I don't want to shy away from any questions about the audit. Yes, we have control of over a lot of aspects of the contract, and that's what makes it amazing.
Great answer. Absolutely fantastic answer. I do have one more question, and that is the kind of long-term aspirations of it, really. So, I think definitely in the short term, and even long term, to be fair, it has, a space that it can fill. But where do you see this in kind of 6 months' time? Where do you see it as a project in terms of both features, but, you can't speculate on the price really, because it's a loaded question, because if you don't answer, it's going to be 100x, people go, oh, well, why doesn't he think it's going to be 100x? So in terms of kind of features and building this whole ecosystem out, which it's great that you can kind of link it to previous projects, but where do you see that happening? Is it partnerships? Is it building out more things that you can do with the kind of farming? How do you think?
I think it's a little bit of everything, right? You need to branch out in this space and attract different types of user bases, right? The NFT play to earn people are a whole lot different than the strategic DeFi people. And having things that appeal to all the different segments in our crypto space is absolutely crucial to the long-term success of any project out there. So yes, we have the farming, we have the NFT game. So we're appealing to two sides of the house right now, but we have so many things that we're working on behind the scenes. One of those is kind of a sneak peek of the Forever Farm farming that could be provided to other projects out there as well. The problem with so many farming pools out there is exactly what we fixed with our farming contract. They don't last forever. You can't just add more rewards to them and keep it going. And they're just not sustainable unless you have a very solid plan. So we'll be able to partner with Kennelsphere and the projects that join Kennelsphere to create farming pools for those projects via Forever Farm. That way they can also now have a farm that lasts forever.
Absolutely love it. Well,
Could I just say something here, guys?
Yeah, of course you can.
Sorry, I just want to say congratulations. You've just hit your soft cap and you are still going on, mate. You have gone from 30 to above 50. I just want to congratulate that already with it being hit so early, mate. Congratulations to you. Fantastic job.
Thank you. We appreciate that. A lot of hard work going in from the team.
Well, like we were saying, let's open it to some questions. We've got a couple that have come through already, but hold your hand up if you do want to speak and we'll get you there. If you are having connection issues, please do put it in the chat. It is much easier to do so rather than there's, basically muting, unmuting and the rest of it. So Moonshine, you had your hand up pretty much immediately as soon as I said that. So let's get you on there. Hello, Moonshine.
Hi, and thank you so much for the opportunity. Hi, guys. Hi, Rick. Yeah, great to have you here. So I'll be going straight to my questions. And my question is actually about the NFTs. So I would like to know, would it be possible for me to lease my NFTs on the game?
So that's actually a feature that we're looking at how we could make that work, since there's BNB payouts and things of that nature. But yes, that is a future utility that could happen with the NFTs for the game. 100%, not only the leasing or lending of the NFT to others that would like to get that strong NFT and use it for a little while, but also an internal marketplace that is under development, where while it's up for sale, your ownership doesn't transfer. That way, any passive income or active income from that NFT won't be lost.
Okay, that's very great, because I feel that would really be a very good utility for game players, because some game players would like to see how efficient or the value of the NFTs first before they decide to mint their own. And some countries, probably because of some regulations. So I feel that would really be good. And also, I would like to ask, is there any referral system for your game?
There's not currently a referral system. We are looking into potential referrals, but a lot of times the referral systems get manipulated by people, if we're being honest. What we do have in place is a referral system of projects. So anybody that knows of a project that's looking to add utility, looking to add use case, and might be interested in joining the NFT game, setting up a staking and/or farming protocol with the Kennelsphere and Forever Farm, anybody that sends those projects to us, there is a referral that paid out on those.
Okay, those are my questions. And lastly, I just want to quickly ask about the APY. Is it would it ever be possible? Because I see sometimes when tokens don't have the ability to sustain their APY, they tend to bring out LP tokens. So is there any possibility of you bringing out LP tokens just because you cannot sustain the APY you promised to investors aside from the token?
No, I mean, the LP tokens are locked for 10,000 days, which is 52 years. So those tokens aren't going anywhere. That BNB is not going anywhere. Now, the problem with those farms is exactly the problem that we are looking to address with Forever Farm. They're just not sustainable. They don't last forever. They can't last forever by design. The design is flawed in the sense that you have to set a specific time. And too many of these farms are minting tokens and minting tokens and minting tokens. And that's where you see the price just fall off the cliff. And again, you're just hoping your APY outpaces the decline in token price. With us, every single time the APY gets low, what's going to happen is we're going to go ahead and pump that price, pump that APY, and incentivize more people to once again add liquidity, continue farming, and getting that return on what they're putting in.
Yeah, great questions there. I like that, and great answers as well, as always. Let's move on to one in the chat. So right now, the problem is most people evaluate projects based on the value of their tokens, not the technology or features the project has. So how can you, Rick, add educational value to your investors so that people understand the value of the project more than the price?
And that, my man, is the $1 million question, right? That's what I take so near and dear to my heart, as the face of the project, as the one who's out here explaining the innovation, why it's different, how it's different, what that means. So the education piece, that's falling on my shoulders. And that's going to happen by things just like this, talking to communities. When it's fully live, it'll be even easier to show the communities, right? Some people have to see to believe and see to learn. So that's exactly what we're going to do is we're going to go on an absolute roadshow, showing everybody how this works, explaining the contract, showing the contract, and really making sure that we are making it very, very easy to understand, even if it seems confusing at first.
Yeah, it's a great question as well, to be fair, because like you say, it's making it as simple as possible, right? Like your original, when I asked you to explain it in a paragraph and you managed to do it in a sentence, I think that is an essential part of this, being able to explain to somebody very, very simply, because as we know in this space, you've been in it for a while now, Rick, I have too. If you put 2 paragraphs in front of somebody, that is just not going to get read, and realistically, it will turn the person away from investing. So it's absolutely an essential question, really, and a good answer. Like, make things as simple as possible and keep doing AMAs, keep talking about it, so it's kind of just drilled into people's brains.
Yeah, people are more interested when they do their own research. What they're looking for is how many memes per minute get posted in the Telegram chat rather than the actual utility of the contract.
How much hype? I said this yesterday in an AMA, but like the best marketing tool you ever can have is FOMO, right? Like whether it should be or shouldn't be, that is basically it. You know, if there is a green candle, everybody, like that research level just drops down a level or two because people go, oh, okay, yeah, well, yeah, I've done the research. The chat looks busy. Cool, I'll put my money in. It shouldn't be that way, but that seems to be the way the space is. Hello, newspaper guy. What question do you have today? I know you're there. I saw you trying to talk. I'm not sure the connection's going to hold up, but put your question in the chat, mate. I'll ask it for you. So we'll move on. But put your question in the chat, mate. I will ask it for you. So you know, still feel free to get your question across. But like I say, connection issues, just break it up just a little bit. Lucky, hello once again. How you doing, Lucky?
Hi. Sorry. Hi. Okay. Quickly, I want to ask about the Forever Farm. You know, youth farming sometimes have like it's kind of risky. So will you educate your investors on the risk of impermanent loss?
Yes, impermanent loss is what happens when you don't have a good APY, right? That's when you're earning barely anything on your LP tokens. You're seeing the price of everything go up, and you're like, man, I definitely missed out on the boat here. Now, the beauty of what we're doing is the APYs that we're able to provide are going to far outpace the impermanent loss, in addition to the token pricing being able to rise along with that, which is just not seen in farming projects.
Educated question, educated answer. That's what we like to see. Right, let's open it up to Vicky. You've been waiting a while. Hello there.
Hello, sir.
How you doing? Ask away, my man.
How strong is your team? As far as I know, many projects start with good, impressive, and then abandon the project. What makes your project different from others?
So I think the question is, as you probably heard at the end there, Rick, what makes it different to the other projects out there?
Yeah, there's a few different things, right? In our white paper, I outline, what is an ecosystem, and to me, it's a word that gets thrown around in the crypto space and is completely misused. In my opinion, an ecosystem is multiple features, multiple utilities, all working together seamlessly to drive the adoption, to drive the utility, and to drive the price of said token. So that's what makes us different, is we actually have an ecosystem. So between the contract features that work with the farming reward features, that work with the NFTs and the NFT games, they're all working together simultaneously through smart contracts, through the blockchain, to create a true ecosystem of features that all have one common goal. That's creating buy pressure, adding liquidity, and driving utilization of the project.
Yeah, great answer. Great answer. Let's open it up to Mr. Paul. Hello, Mr. Paul.
Hello, how you doing today?
Yeah, very, very good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a very educative AMA so far. Crypto Rick here has been doing a good job, slaying the questions asked. So yeah, my own question for today was gonna be about the NFT game. So firstly, I tried, getting into that side of the platform, and it seems it does not operate on the phone. So the first part of the question was, is it only available to Mac or PCs and not available to Android at the moment? And also, the second question was about the NFTs. Is there already a listed price for each of them? Because seeing that it's an NFT game, I believe we have to hold some NFTs before we can get access to it. So that's the questions.
That's correct. So it does work on the phone. So you can use Wallet Connect through the Google Chrome browser. We recommend MetaMask over Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet and dApps, let's just face it, they're not great. So if you're utilizing Trust Wallet, we do recommend you import that wallet to MetaMask. If you just Google help with that, they'll be able to help you with that. Just import your private seed into MetaMask. Don't give it to anybody that's DMing you right now because they're scammers. But go ahead and take a look at that. If you need any help with that, you can go into the Kennelsphere chat. The team over there is more than happy to always assist with that. When it comes to the NFT itself, the starting price for the Forever Farm mint will be 0.1 BNB per NFT. Every 10 NFTs minted, it goes up by 0.01. So therefore, getting in early will also have a value for that. Now, the exciting part about that is every time an NFT is minted, it creates buy pressure, adds to the APY. Every time that NFT is trained, creates buy pressure, adds to the APY. Also, you'll see that this is going to now be the third project that's listed in the NFT game. So the other NFT projects, right, we have Kennel as well as AutoRise that are in the game. Their NFT mint price is more expensive than Forever Farm's initial price. That means if any of those players are wanting to get their hands on some new NFTs for a discounted rate, they're going to have to buy the Forever Farm required and mint the Forever Farm NFT to get that discounted rate, which creates buy pressure and increases the APY.
Wow, I must say I truly love the mechanism. You know, for I believe as a investor, for everyone who is able to buy this NFT now, seeing the way it is being a tradable asset as well as tying into the game. I believe lots of revenue can be made for both the investor and the owners itself. So I really like the concept towards it, and I'll see you in your Telegram. Thanks for the opportunity, and best of luck, Crypto Rick.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the question. It was a good one.
Was indeed. And I just wanted to say you've got a fantastic voice. Do you know when some people just have a great voice? You had a fantastic voice. I know it's a strange thing to say. Sorry, Mr. Paul, but you did.
That's awesome.
Flirting with you. Take it as a compliment. You don't flirt with everyone.
No, not at all. Right, Mickey's got a question. Our very own Mickey. Let me read through it. Arguably, one of the biggest issues projects face is scalability, including users into your ecosystem and essentially not putting a lump of functionalities in front of them and being overwhelmed by them. So how do you intend to scale up the project? Maybe a private roadmap you have that seeks to reveal utilities in bits/stages.
Yeah, definitely, right. Utility and adoption are always the most important things, right? It's the hype will get you started, but you have to have something to sustain, or you lose those people to the next hype thing. So that's exactly what we're focused on right now, is making sure that what we're doing is continuously growing the community, growing the project. So there's a few different ways that happens. Number one way is exactly like this, right? Traditional marketing, AMAs, getting to know the communities. Luckily, I've been a crypto YouTuber for 5 years now. That's crazy to say out loud. Making videos, so I've learned and met a ton of people in the space, right? A ton of other marketers, ton of other influencers. We've gone to conferences together. So I do have some connections when it comes to those types of things to help get the word out there once we're launched and once we can show off these contract features. In addition to that, the partnership with Kennelsphere is a huge one, because every single time that Kennelsphere onboards a new project, that's new eyes seeing all the existing projects that are part of the Kennelsphere in the combat game and the staking and the farming provided by Forever Farm. And all of those things will continuously drive new users, new eyeballs, and new adoptions. So that's the way that I like to look at our ecosystem. And the ecosystem goes much further than just the Forever Farm ecosystem. It's the ecosystem of all projects that are going to utilize the game, that are going to utilize the farming pools. All of those are going to be working together without even knowing it and bringing more eyes to each and every single one of them.
Yeah, great answer. I would just highlight the second part of that question is, how do you, because I think you're right, it does fit into that ecosystem nicely. It kind of slots in perfectly, really. It's almost like you thought about it, Rick. But the second part of the question is, but how do you not overwhelm people with this sort of thing, right? Like fitting into an ecosystem to us as devs, like it feels like, hand in glove. But to somebody that might be, a noob to the space, like they might get a bit overwhelmed. Well, where do I do this? Where do I do it on, Kennelsphere? Do I do it on Forever Farm? How do you kind of stop that from happening, that overwhelming feeling?
Yeah, and that's a lot of community engagement, number one, and just understanding, like we touched on earlier, that there's different people focused on different things in the space. Not every person has to use every utility for this ecosystem to work properly. If they want to come for the game, come for the game. If they want to come for the DeFi, come for the DeFi. And maybe from there, as their comfort grows, they start spreading out into the other aspects of the ecosystem. But having targeted approaches on each individual one, right? If I'm going to go on CryptoStash's YouTube channel and talk about this stuff, I'm talking about the NFTs in the game. It's going to be very little about the farming. Right? If I'm going on Wendy's channel to talk to her, it's going to be a lot about the DeFi and the price charts and all of this. So understanding all of your resources at your disposal have their own strengths and their own weaknesses, and highlighting those to make it a smooth onboarding process for each individual segment. And then as they're in, they can stretch their wings a little bit and test out new areas of the ecosystem.
Fantastic answer. Fantastic question. I love them both. Let's open them up to a couple more. I'm going to say 2 more questions. Sorry, Rick. I know we're bombarding you a little bit, but hopefully you like answering them. Let's go Sniper Guy first. Hey, man. Are you there, my dude?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
There
you.
you go.
Yeah, thanks for the great opportunity. Let me just go to my question. Yeah, so my question is, are you planning on using the next for
I'm really sorry, but that connection is breaking up, Sniper Guy. Please put your question in the chat. I'll read it out for you. As soon as it's in there, I'll read it out for you. You still get your opportunity, okay? So put it in the chat if you don't mind, and I'll ask it out for you. But the connection is a little bit choppy there, so we couldn't really hear much. Let's open it up to Igo, I'm going to say.
Hello guys, can you guys hear me?
Kind of, but you need to speak up just a little bit, dude.
Okay. So my question is well, I would like to know that what kind of relationship you have with the team members, and what's your experience when it comes to building new projects.
I think you're asking about, my experience with the team members and leadership of the team members. So I've worked with these guys, this solid core group of people here now for the better part of a year. My core team, a year and a half. So we've known each other very well. We've done a few different projects together, and we've continued to innovate on those projects, such as Kennel, such as what you'll see here with Forever Farm. So yeah, the trust goes deep with these guys. We know each other in the crypto space as well as outside of the crypto space as well. So it's not just some mixed group of people that just kind of met each other. We definitely built this team with one purpose in mind: get a diverse group of people with a diverse group of skill sets, with a diverse group of opinions. The worst thing you can do as a head of anything, any company, any project, any family, anything, is surround yourself with only people who think like you, with only people who are good at the same things you're good at. You need people to complement the things that you're not so great at, and you need to be able to complement them at the things they're not so great at. So we picked this team because of exactly that. We complement each other's strengths and weaknesses very, very well, and you should see some of the chats. We are not afraid to speak up when we don't agree with something one of them is saying, which is extremely, extremely important.
Absolutely is important. I agree. Like having a team where you can, it's about, we've worked in the wider space as well. I'm sure, I assume you have as well, Rick. It's important to be able to get your opinion across without being, excuse my terminology, a dick, basically. So sometimes that gets heated, but as long as there's that respect there between team members, that's why you keep driving forward and you doing projects together, I'm assuming. So yeah, I love to hear it. I'm going to open the floor up to you now, Rick, I think. We've had lots of questions. I appreciate there's going to be plenty more people here that want to ask questions, but Forever Farms TG will be open. So please do go in there and ask away. Like Crypto Rick said, or just Rick, said there's going to be more AMAs as well if you've got a question to ask there. So do follow to see what they're doing. But I'm going to open up the floor to you. Tell us about the project. I know you already have, but for those of the people that just joined this last second, give us the last little bit of the laydown of the project.
Yeah, perfect. I appreciate it. First and foremost, thank you guys for the invite. Thanks for getting me on here today. Obviously, we have our gem pad pre-sale going right now. We have achieved the soft cap already. There are 77 spots available. So how this works is as soon as those 77 spots are full, the pre-sale is going to end. We're going to list on the DEX, which is going to be Pancake Swap. When that happens, we will be launching our DApp, which is the farming DApp. Immediately. We will be launching the NFTs in the NFT game immediately. So all the utilities that we're talking about are all set, ready to go. And what we're offering the world is exactly that. It's something new, something innovative, and it's a completely new twist on the longest standing tradition in DeFi, which is providing liquidity to tokens. That's where DeFi started. That's how you actually take the power away from projects, so to speak, and put it with the people, is by the community providing liquidity to these projects. So we wanted to put a spin on that. We wanted to bring it back and make farming great again. And Forever Farm is going to do exactly that with its self-sustaining, unbelievable contract and the APY that people are going to love to see. So watch the AMAs now, watch the AMAs post-launch. You'll see us be able to pump the price as well as the farming APY with one click of a button, which has never been done before in any section of the space. So I invite you, come on over to the Telegram, follow us on Twitter, all that good stuff. We're always here. We're an open book, and I love hearing my voice. So ask the questions, and I will do my best to answer each and every single one of them.
Love to have you here, mate. It was absolutely fantastic. You were absolutely great in answering the questions. So, we'd love to have you back on again. John was going to say that, but I stole his thunder. Is that what you were going to say, John?
I was absolutely going to say that, and I was going to say I'm going to drop in your DMs again, Rick, to have further chats. And I just want to say, as you can imagine, holding AMAs. I mean, I'm going to say it, but I think Ant's a fantastic host anyway. But you do get people and project developers and owners of these projects that sometimes think maybe you shouldn't have come on an AMA because you don't bring it across. You have been absolutely on the money, mate. You have described everything. You've gone into detail. You are certainly, from what I can see, not holding anything back. You're not trying to keep things from the investor at all. I think you're just a real true project with a real good team behind you, mate. And if the other team are anything like yourself, mate, I think you've got a fantastic thing, honestly. I really think you've come across well, mate, and you've sold your project fantastically. I mean, you've raised, I think there's been a few B&B being put into on this AMA, which we obviously always like to see as well, because it means that we're doing the right thing as well. So I just want to say thumbs up, mate, and I'll be in your DMs. Don't you worry about that.
I appreciate that very, very much. Thank you again for the opportunity, guys.
Mate, you are more than welcome.